Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
So you think Scott Tyson is out today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. You've got me to deal with, but Drew DeArmond, the star of our program, is still here. Drew, it's always great to talk to you, sir. Feels like an extended version of the Bama Recap Show.
Yeah, I mean, we just had the parking lot painted. That's pretty much it. But, we got out here long enough for that.
That's right.
And then to come back and to watch the Joe and Tua show last night and tip of the cap to the Eagles. They were the healthier team, and they outplayed the Dolphins. Both quarterbacks played well, and certainly there was a lot of Bama guys on the field, including undrafted free agents like Eli Ricks. So it was
pretty fun to watch.
It was like a Alabama-Georgia recruiting info commercial. I mean, that's basically what it was. But we all know it all started at Alabama because that's where Kirby was. But Kirby has a great program at Georgia, and half the depth chart for the Eagles is Georgia guys. So, and then a few Bama guys sprinkled in, and then of course offensively. Now I'm still kind of making me having to take that all in with Julio Jones being number 80.
Yeah, that looks a little weird.
I was trying to figure out if Mike Quick had been 80 at one time or if he was 82. So
I think 80. I want to say 80.
I thought it was 80, but certainly he was a really good player during my youth.
Yeah, me too.
For the Eagles, and so Julio took that number. Because I'm sure 8 was taken, and some of these other single-digit numbers, and Julio trying to chase a ring as well. So it was some good football yesterday, no doubt about it. But it was some outstanding football on Sunday, and on Saturday, because if you can't stand Tennessee, and I can't. And if you love the University of Alabama and you love whipping their ass, 16 out of 17, Alabama certainly did that, and made it all the more sweeter because Tennessee thought they had the game at halftime. They thought it was over. They were planning celebrations and, basically thought they were going on some streak of X amount in a row. And then we figured out that King of the Hill didn't have it.
The part of the press conference that is garnering the most attention from I don't know if you saw any flags in the newly painted parking lot out there, but this is a little bit of Josh Heupel post-game after what happened in the second half. Bama's win 34-20.
End of the day, reset, got to keep coming, playing, and we did at times offensively don't put it in when we get down there, with 7-8 minutes left and got a chance to make it a game. So
Austin and Gentry. It seemed like at points in the second half, your defenders were having to play two-hand touch, and they were allowed to play Mortal Kombat out there a little bit. I mean, did you feel like that it was a bit one-sided?
Gentry. Gentry.
next question, was that long enough silence?
Yep.
So I wanted to amplify the question. I don't know if you heard the question, and I'm going to try to cue this up again.
Austin and Gentry.
It seemed like at points in the second half, your defenders were having to play two-hand touch, and they were allowed to play Mortal Kombat out there a little bit. I mean,
it's called.
Really? I mean, that's your question. That's your question. Not they had 8 flags, or you had 8 flags, they had 1 flag. By the way, if you watched the game, Alabama did not commit 1 penalty. They had 1 penalty called on them, but they didn't. Listen, it's not like there were game-defining plays that were not called out there, okay?
Well, this is one of the same
Mortal
idiots.
Kombat or two-hand touch.
I'm sure that idiot whoever asked that question, and he is an idiot, by the way, is
Gentry.
I'm sorry, whatever. I don't give a damn who it is. I'm sure last year he thought it was a well officiated game too. I mean, you can call me a homer all you want, but that's the biggest homerism BS I've ever heard in my life.
It was a very poorly worded question.
You got to be kidding me. I mean, all I'll say is you got your ass kicked 27-0 in the second half. King of the Hills out there calling, fourth down plays from midfield like a dumbass, and then running stupid ass, plays right into the middle of Alabama's defensive line, acting like they're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. I thought he called a brilliant first half, by the way.
Yeah,
I thought he did one heck of a job. I thought he and his coaching staff, Tim Banks, defensive coordinator, Heupel's basically the OC, they came out ready. They had a brilliant plan. It was 20-7, and then they came out.
Should have been worse.
I didn't think they attacked the perimeter like they did before as far as trying to get him into a rhythm to start the second half. I thought they just started trying to run the football directly. They kind of got away from it. When they tried to go back, Alabama had adjusted and took some things away. It's a chess game. They didn't, counter move. And I just thought overall he got completely out-coached in the second half. And, the narrative that, the only reason Alabama won is because of the officiating. Are you kidding me? They beat the hell out of Tennessee the second half, beat them 27-0, and won the game going away. There was nothing; it had nothing to do with the officiating. Last year, 3 or 4 calls absolutely did decide the game at the end of the ball game. Okay,
pass interference in particular.
After the guy's 40 yards down the field and he's throwing flags, it was I thought it was the ref of the Atlanta Falcons game, listening to Wes Durham and Arts yesterday. I mean,
they were good yesterday.
I mean, guys throwing the ball. He's like Arts is like he threw that flag. He was 40 yards away. I'm like, he's probably related to the moron who threw the flag in the Alabama-Tennessee game last year. And don't get me wrong, Tennessee won the game. Okay, it's not going to change.
They did. 52-49.
I hope the Tennessee fans have, I hope everybody on their list for their stocking stuffer has a DVD, a copy of the game that they need to buy for next year, for Christmas this year, because there's going to be a lot of Tennessee fans needing to watch something that's not an ass whipping, and that was an ass whipping on Saturday. So, Alabama was won 16 out of 17. Tennessee's an improved program. Josh Heupel's doing a good job. This is hopefully becoming a rivalry again, because it's not a rivalry when you lose every year, but they certainly changed the narrative a year ago. The main reason, though, is I hope everybody understands now, including Dennis Doofus of CBS Sports, how good Hendon Hooker was. Okay? Hendon Hooker was a transcendent quarterback. He's the best QB in a Vol uniform since Peyton Manning. If somebody doesn't tell you that, slap them in the face, because they don't know what the hell they're watching.
I did want to play a little bit of what Hugh Freeze had to say post-game. Listen, now Hugh Freeze is trying to duct tape stuff together.
He doesn't have a quarterback.
What he just said.
Well, we wanted to get to the fourth quarter and shorten the game, and maybe that was the wrong approach. It felt like they were so explosive on offense that if we could get to the fourth quarter, we did feel like we could run the ball on them, and maybe it's the wrong approach. Again, everything you look at and second guess after a loss that you felt like you had a chance to win. So, but we need to stay balanced. But that has not, we've struggled to throw the ball consistently, no matter who's back there, and protect it and catch it.
So other than that, I mean, it's the plan worked well.
Well, I mean,
can't throw it, can't catch it. We can run it.
They have a solid running back room.
They do.
Their offensive line is better, but it still had to be totally rebuilt in the portal, and it's not great. Their receiver core is an abomination. They have nobody that can get separation.
Yeah.
Their best receiver is Rivaldo Fairweather, who's a good, not great tight end.
Yeah.
And they have no quarterback. Okay. Thorne is.
Let's call it what it is.
Thorne came in. He threw for 6,000 yards in the Little 10. Okay, which is not the SEC.
Yeah.
And I think they've obviously realized that. I mean, I'm sorry. I know Michigan is number 1 or whatever right now. I guess Georgia's still number 1 or 1B or 1A.
Yeah.
I still am not convinced Michigan's the best team in the country, because I don't think the Big Ten's very good. I watched Ohio State and Penn State, and it was a joke.
Yeah.
I don't think either quarter. If you take Marvin Harrison Jr. off of Ohio State, they probably lose the game. Now, he is awesome. He is transcendent. He is his father. Okay, his father. For all you millennials out there that have not watched YouTube, Google Marvin Harrison Sr. and enjoy Paul Pasqualoni and Syracuse football with some cat named Donovan McNabb throwing him the ball. Yeah. Ask Tommy Tuberville, Senator Tuberville, about those guys and Dwight Freeney. Okay, that's when Syracuse was worth 10 cents. Okay, they had some players. But and Marvin Harrison Jr. is in the same category. He is uncoverable. He is a transcendent. He should be a top 5 pick. He is better than this Njigba fool. And I guess Olave's really good. I'm
glad you brought that up because we're getting this enema jammed in us about how down the SEC is.
And I thought it was too, but I'm looking at everybody else. But
thank you. The more I am looking at the Big Ten and the Pac-12, I'm not seeing as many good defenses as that we have here in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, and Steve, I was up late. You know me. I'm a night owl. I'm watching Kenny Dillingham just go brain dead Saturday night.
Oh, my God.
Come on. What are you doing? You're up 7-6. You got a 25 or 28, whatever the hell, field goal, and you go up 10-6. Penix is not playing good. No. Their offense is out of rhythm. It's 4th and 3. Kick the field goal, and you friggin' throw it and throw a pick 6. What are these coaches doing? I was like, I had to tweet it. I was like, he's channeling his inner Heupel. What is he doing?
Do I dare bring up Dabo Swinney?
I didn't even see what the hell he did. I just know he lost to Miami when Van Dyke didn't even play.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Klubnik ended up holding on to the football in the second overtime play, and that did not end well. I do have a little bit of Dabo for our Monday morning pleasure.
I just saw the final, man. Oh, my God.
So what would be a good one for Dabo? This one's about 10 minutes into the press conference.
I love our players. There's nobody that wants it more than Will Shipley. But we got to take care of the ball, and we got to finish. So I don't know why, but I do know that God never says oops. That's what I believe, and we just have to keep grinding. And again, better days ahead. This is a hell of a season that we're in the middle of right now, and it's just disappointing as crap because we have a really good team. We have a really good football team, and we are in position to win every game. And I got to help these guys find a way to stop making some of these mistakes. So
they are turning over the ball a lot.
Well, let's just be blunt here, man. Their quarterback play lately has not been good. Okay? DJ Uiagalelei went backwards. Klubnik has not been impressive. I was not impressed with him at all.
No.
Shipley is a good player. He's a good all-purpose running back. And let's be blunt. I don't think Clemson's been real good up front on the offensive line for a while. I think that's kind of been lacking. And then even Drake May, they lost to Virginia. If you're the first pick in the draft, you don't lose to Virginia, who couldn't beat James Madison. That is pathetic.
At home.
Pathetic.
They lost to Jimmy Madison at home.
Come on. I've been critical of Jalen Milroe and some mistakes he's making, and I was talking about what if they had Drake May. They lost to Virginia, okay?
Yeah.
Virginia, and he completed 50% of his passes. I know he threw for 347 yards. It's Virginia, everybody. Virginia. They stink.
I know we've got jammed up phone lines, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to take an early time out right now. Mark, LC, those of you on hold, we're going to get right to you. We're wide open here in this first hour, walking you up to hour number 2. It's the Monday morning edition of Talkin' Ball right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
A report of a wreck at 72 and County Line. No report of injury there. And apparently a problem with the traffic signal at Triana and Drake. HPD's on the way to direct traffic there till they can get that one back online. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff, and North Parkway. Captain Egg in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is driven by you, driven by those with grit, determination, and a goal to succeed. This is why we do what we do. The Huntsville Sports Commission promotes an enhanced quality of life in the Huntsville area through sports. We work hard to make sure those who come to Huntsville to compete have all they need to be the best they can be. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go Higher and go Army.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
Talking ball on a Monday morning, along with Drew DeArmond, Steve Moulton back here with you, Bailey Lowry behind the glass, otherwise known as the Bandy Man. Are we taking years off your life, like the Alabama football team is to Nick Saban?
I see y'all have been fine.
Okay,
nothing here.
Okay,
Alabama, not so much.
So that's what Nick pretty much admitted to.
Oh, I love it. You know, it's been great. The challenges are great. I enjoy coaching this team. That's not to say that they're taking years off of my life, but I'm okay with that.
Catch a punt.
It's fun because they've got a good spirit about them. We've got good relationships on our team. I think the players legitimately care about each other, and you know, they respond well to their coaches. So it's really fun to coach them. I don't think we sometimes show the maturity from a competitive standpoint to do everything on a consistent basis, which is what we keep trying to work toward. But I'll tell you, eight weeks in a row, and the grind that we've had the last 4 or 5 weeks, you know, with the games in our league, I think psychologically we probably had a little bit of a tired team, you know, out there at the beginning of the game. And I think the momentum of the game gave them the energy they needed to play the way they could. They were capable of playing.
No Nick today at noon. It is a bye week, as Coach mentioned right there.
Which means he's at the touchdown club over in Birmingham.
So we'll I should have brought in some Kool-Aid this morning. Instead, I just brought in my flavored Gatorade. So, Nonetheless, Drew is obviously not drinking the Kool-Aid this morning.
I love Kool-Aid as a corner, but as a punt returner right now, he ain't no damn Javi Arenas or David Palmer. We had this debate on Twitter.
That's right. And we talked about it yesterday morning as well during the Bama Recap Show. Mark is first up out of the gate here this Monday morning on Talkin' Ball. Good morning, Mark.
Morning and roll tide.
It was a good one, Mark. It was a good second half.
Hey, you know, Jeff from the borough, and now I don't live in Huntsville. I live in Spring Hill, so I'm Mark from the hill, and from where I'm looking down from the hill, I'd say I'd like for the Alabama fans, including some on, well, some on this program, maybe not this program, but this station, to finally, hopefully, can admit that Milroe actually is a decent quarterback. And here's what I mean by that. I don't want to be treated like the Burrow guy. But here's the deal. He can now do something that we thought he always could. But now if he can do what he did in the second half the rest of the year, he very well, I'm not saying he's going to win the Heisman, don't get me wrong, okay? But the kind of reads, if we got the running game going, I think that was one of the differences, is that he can pull it and run it. That looked like a different offense altogether because you can throw it, you can run it, or you can run your quarterback on a read run, you know, triple option type thing. So I really like the play calling of our offensive coordinator. He called his best game in the second half. And I'll say this, here's what I really wanted to get in. I know other people are waiting, is, you know, Kevin Steele, instead of Wild Turkey, makes all the difference in the world. I'll say that. And defensively, we were missing some key players. Arnold was out with a concussion. We had a couple of other guys out and injured, you know. But
17.
No excuses were made, by the way, last year when Alabama was called for 170 yards in penalties to the idiots from Tennessee.
A game, according to the Tennessee media, Mark. That was a well-officiated game last year.
Right, and my last comment with Heupel in Stanky or Skanky or whatever his name is for the SEC, whoever our guy in charge, should fine him. He won't. He's a coward. But he answered that question about is it two-hand touch or Mortal Kombat? And
that was a lousy question. I mean,
but his answer was yes. If you go back and listen to it, his answer was next question. Yes, is his answer to that idiot question. And then how was my silence or whatever? So he looked like a complete retard up there, like he was having a stroke. And I love how he tears his paper up at the very end as he walks off. So he got his butt handed to him. He's going to have it handed to him again and again and again. Roll Tide.
Thank you, Mark. LC, you are up next. You can call in, too, at 256-576-4977. How are you, LC?
What's up, LC?
I'm good, guys. Love the show. And I love how Drew covered Heupel's unhappiness with the
it was Mortal Kombat.
after last year, Bryce Young getting hit late, no flag. I mean, it was.
Did we not see Tennessee trying to punch the ball out?
Oh yeah, that's when he hit the guy in the head.
Mortal Kombat. I mean, if you really want to say Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I would have turned to Gentry or whoever and been like, well, what happened when the defender hit Alabama's receiver in the head and they didn't call a flag?
I know it was inadvertent. I know the guy didn't do it.
He hit
on
him
purpose.
in the head. I don't
know
care.
It wasn't on purpose.
I know, but he still hit him in the head, and the official, overlooked that one. But whatever.
Maybe that's what Heupel was talking about. Maybe he's disappointed in his player, and he thought that they should have thrown a flag. You think, maybe? Oh, gosh, what a joke. And the way they acted like animals last year, I'm sorry, but...
Because they weren't expecting to win the game. That's what mouth breathers do.
That's right. That's right. I'm older, fellas, and my dad took me to see Joe Namath when I was in elementary school.
Wow.
All these years, going to a lot of games, I've never seen Alabama fans act with a mob mentality. Of course, they don't have to. But the way they acted last year with police having to help people get to their buses and cars, with the way they were acting, it was unbelievable. But anyway, let me make one last point. I hope that players coming in to the program will see what Chris Braswell has done. He's hung around. He got in games when he could. He's a senior, and he is having an exceptional year. Drew, what kind of money do you think he's going to make? When is he going to get drafted? He's going to make some money in the NFL because he stuck around, got better, and he's having a phenomenal year.
Well, LC, if everybody remembers Chris Allen a couple years ago who broke his foot in the first game against Miami, he broke it actually getting a strip sack. And going into that year, he had waited his turn and had played quite a bit the year before. It was going to be a starter. And I think if he had stayed healthy that entire year, he would have been a second or third round draft choice and played in the NFL for a while. The injury cost him to the point where he ended up being a free agent. He decided not to come back because there was a lot of talent behind him that was waiting to play. The Will Andersons were about to show up, so he knew they had players behind him. But I'll just say I think Braswell's much along the same the path right now. If he stays healthy, if he continues to disrupt like he is, I think he could be even a second-round draft choice. I don't want to say first yet, but I mean him and Turner are both. I think they're the best tandem in the SEC. It gives them a chance against LSU because they are going to have to rush the passer. The only problem is that I'll be honest with you, man. I've been watching all these quarterbacks. Okay? And going into the weekend, I thought Penix was the best until I saw him throw up all over himself against Arizona State. Jaden Daniels is the best player. I've watched them all, okay? He's been the most consistent. He's the best player. And guess what? He's also mobile as hell.
Yeah.
And so that's the conundrum for Alabama. And the one thing I will say is Coach Steele came up with the best game plan to slow Joe Burrow and then down in 2019. But Joe Burrow is great a player as he is and wasn't as mobile as this kid.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels has improved more as a passer in 1 year than anybody I've ever seen with his ball placement. I mean, he is throwing the ball almost like Tua did at Alabama. I mean, he is on fire. They've lost 2 games, but again, and their defense just totally let him down against Ole Miss. But here's the problem for Alabama. Alabama, and they're improving, okay? But they do not have the firepower to score 55 points, in my opinion, like Ole Miss did. And they don't have the scheme, Steve.
But I'm not sure. I
think it's going to take 35. But Alabama does have a much better defense than Ole Miss. But they got to find a way to get stopped.
This hot and cold season, I'm not sure would work against LSU because they're starting to figure it out defensively. If LSU plays their best, they are fully capable of beating Alabama.
Oh, well, of course they are. They have an offense that averages, almost 50 points a game.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they don't have a weakness.
But it does seem like the defense is finally starting to figure it out.
Well, I mean,
and I know
think
it's
they're
a
getting
hard
better.
thing to judge against a team like Army, but I'm even talking about in games before.
Well, they should have lost to Missouri, though. Look, they didn't play all that good again. They didn't get a pick six and all that. And I will say this, I think Alabama is as good as Missouri on offense if Milroe plays like he did in the second half. The biggest key to the second half is what Mark was talking about, is that Milroe ran the ball willingly, and they gave Tennessee something else to deal with. If he runs the football, it helped Jace McClellan open it up and gain 100 yards. And then, of course, they were able to mix in some throws. Milroe just has to keep progressing. This is going to sound funny. He is more physically talented than any quarterback Saban has had from the standpoint of his size and his arm strength and his mobility. But quarterbacking, that is not what quarterbacking is. It's not a punt, pass, and kick contest. It's the neck up. It is accuracy, anticipation, and
feel.
And the feel for it, moving up in the pocket, throwing the ball on time. That's what quarterbacking is. You know what I'm saying? And he's been, deficient in those areas. But he's also, even though he's a redshirt sophomore, I mean, he's in his third year. He's still young from the standpoint of playing.
20
he
years
hasn't
old.
Played a lot of football.
He's 20.
Okay, and then he came in raw. He didn't play in a great system in high school, and so a pro-style system. They've been trying to mold this kid, and they've been spoon-feeding him, and he's been improving, but just not in leaps and bounds. And they're going to need his best game against LSU.
Let's go ahead and take our second time out. We'll hear more from you here on a Monday morning. It's Talkin' Ball right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expected quiet night across the Tennessee Valley. We'll sit under a partly cloudy sky. Low temperatures are expected to fall into the mid and upper 50s for the overnight. Looking ahead into your Tuesday, mostly sunshine expected. High temperatures going to be topping out in the upper 70s for the afternoon. It could also be breezy at times with gusts up to 20 miles per hour possible. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Still may be working with a wreck at 72 and County Line. No report of injury there. And they were having trouble with the traffic signal at Triana and Drake. Had signal engineers on the way to repair that one. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Want even more excitement on game day? It's time to get on Prize Picks, the best way to win big on fantasy sports. Here's how it works. Just pick 2 to 6 players and choose more or less on their stats. If you get them right, you could win up to 25 times your cash. It's quick and easy to make your picks, and with fast and safe deposits and withdrawals, Prize Picks is the place to play this season. Prize Picks has awesome weekly promotions, and they're the only daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, keeping you in the game even if one of your players goes down. Sweat it out. Watch your entry update in real time and continue the fun by making picks on second half and fourth quarter stats. Take your game day experience to the next level with Prize Picks. And right now, you go to prizepicks.com/primetime and use code primetime. Prize Picks is matching your first deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/primetime with code primetime for a 100% deposit match. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for more details.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. There's nothing like the freedom you feel when you're on the water in your own boat from Freedom Marine in Guntersville. And when it's time to get your boat ready for cold weather, Freedom Marine is your best choice to winterize your boat so it's ready to go next spring. If you've been thinking about a new boat, Freedom Marine has a great selection on sale now with deals that are the lowest prices they've been in a decade. For new and used boats, outboard, sales, financing, service, and parts, it's Freedom Marine. Highway 431 in Guntersville and online at freedommarincenter.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Don't let your back or neck pain get in the way. Get back to doing the things you love with the spine and neuro team from Huntsville Hospital. As the most experienced in the area, we have been improving lives in North Alabama for more than 50 years. Whether your favorite fishing hole is on Wilson Lake in the Shoals, Flint Creek, or Lake Gunnersville, Spine and Neuro is nearby to get you back to your best. Visit us online at spineandneuro.com to learn more.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
Feels only appropriate. This needs to be on a loop today.
We saw it. We saw it at the end of the game, man. It was when everybody left the field, and that drunk Alabama fan came out there and got speared. Hey, it wasn't even targeting. That security guard, something like Freddie Kirby said, sign that guy. He can absolutely tackle.
I don't know if you've seen that video yet, but it is circling everywhere.
I mean, the guy was on his back, man.
Whoever filmed that up on the second level, fantastic camera.
Oh, Russ Rucker, I got to say that for Vols 24/7, he saw it. I mean, he tweeted about it. I mean, it was absolutely just a shellacking.
So that was Mortal Kombat right there. Finish him.
Oh, that was some finishing, all right.
Floyd is on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline this Monday morning. Good morning, Floyd.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Floyd. Did you ever have a tackle like that at Walker County?
I don't know. That was pretty sweet. I can't say that I did. Oh, man. I just wanted to you were talking a while ago about the injured players that went out. I was very well pleased with the ones that stepped in. Trey Amos. Can I say Jihad Campbell wearing number 30 out there reminded me of a number 30 linebacker we had a few years ago by the name of Dante Hightower. That kid was all over the field. I mean, it wasn't just the fumble recovery touchdown. It was, man, he was sideline to sideline. And yes, Kevin Steele, the adjustments we made on defense, they were talking about we started in a 5-man, an odd-man front, trying to stop the run, and it didn't work out like they thought, so they went back. And when they changed back to the 4-man front, just that the kids were familiar with, and they started playing fast, that's when the defense started stepping up. And two, how tough is the Roberts kid on the offensive line?
Yeah, that didn't look good. I would agree with you there, no question. When he went out, I thought he might be definitely done for the game. Thought he might be out for a while. He showed a lot of toughness coming back, and A good friend of mine who I do a podcast with every week, Bam's Radio. I know he's been on this show before a few years back, William Barger, but I'll just use William's analogy that he talked about yesterday on Bam's, and he called him a swamp monster. And said he should be one of the first 5 guys off the bus every time.
Character on Scooby-Doo mysteries right there.
There you go. But he just, but I was watching him though, some of the highlights, and when he locks on a guy, I mean, he's a massive dude. I mean, his whole problem when he first got there was just the assignments. He needed to learn things mentally because he is a massive human being, and he and J.C. Latham on that right side are pretty tough to deal with. They still got to bring the left tackle along. Still had a couple issues at center, but I think the offensive line's starting to get better.
Yes, I do too. And like I said, I think he's a big part of it. Now that he's got everything, he's starting to get his assignments down. Like you said, he's doing a great job. But just to see him come back yesterday after tweaking that knee and come back out and play like he did, and I was impressed.
No question.
But they can make all the excuses they want to, but they just got the brake speed off of them in the second half. There's no way around it. But anyway,
thank you, Floyd.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time here this morning. Jeff from the Borough, how are you this morning, sir?
And Jeff, before you say something, I know you're reveling in this. I know you are, because you live in Murfreesboro and you're enjoying Tennessee losing.
Oh, you better believe it.
See, I told you. I knew it.
He's a Kentucky guy.
Checkers chess or backgammon. I love when they lose.
Tennessee is a 3-point favorite, by the way, this week.
I could care less about Saturday Moulton. I'm not worried about that. I know you are, though. But I'll just say this.
Supplying information. That's all I'm doing is supplying information.
Our favorite this morning, Groundhog Day, big picture Heupel. Looks like one of them orange road signs. Trying to argue with the official. Everybody says up here, Birmingham took over in the second half. But they say Birmingham took over and Bama had 1 flag and Tennessee had 8. So that's the Tennessee fans. They complain off when they lose. It's always officiating. It's never they played bad or didn't do whatever. It's always the officials or something. It's always we called a foul. There's 2 seconds left to go, or in the Sweet 16 or whatever it may be. It's always that with Tennessee. They never play bad. It's always the other team. It's always the officials or something. They ever can complain. But like I said, you guys you can have Rick Barnes for life if you want him. You can have regular season Rick. I'll take Calipari all day long.
Well, you got Boogie. You got Boogie there, Jeff.
Well, that's what we going. He sure wasn't going to Alabama. You know better than that.
Well, no, Alabama was 3rd.
He sure wasn't going to Alabama. He got some sense. He ain't going there. He ain't going to play in that dump. He going to play in a real arena.
They only beat Kentucky by 44 last year, though.
I don't care about last year. We got history.
Of course
we got 8 national. We got 8 national champions. You got 0. So
I know. We understand that.
But
kind of like your football resume since Bear Bryant.
Y'all did play good in the second half. I watched a little bit the first half. I thought Tennessee had a really good.
That was 50 years ago.
I thought the Bama might come back and win, but I didn't think they would do 27-0. And I know everybody said that Saban made adjustments and Heupel didn't. So I don't know about all that, but everything. But and I guess Missouri is better than advertised. Moulton, is Drinkwitz your favorite coach? He's the man, isn't he? Drinkwitz the man up there at Missouri.
I mean, they got a tough schedule coming up, but they put themselves in position. I mean, you'd have to say right now he's coach of the year because nobody saw it. 7-1.
I know Shane.
But you got to finish.
I know that. I know Shane
finish, man.
I know who he's.
Oh Lord! I mean, they
But I didn't want to say. I want to say, Drew, that the first coach will be fired will be Mr. Pittman. 22 up and 24 down.
Well, he might. He could be. I mean, he did get rid of his OC, but
Dan Enos.
You're right. I mean,
is gone.
I like Coach Pittman. They're playing hard, but they're not winning.
At Florida, host Auburn, host FIU, then Missouri.
Yeah, so they could end up, 3 for.
Well, see, guys, I'm good with seeing.
I mean, he's right. They might end up 3-9. They might. I mean, they've lost 6 in a row.
Brandon is next. How are you, Brandon? Brandon.
Hey, what's up, Brandon?
Remember when Saban asked that question? He said, has anybody seen Dan?
Oh, yeah. We were asking about that. Yeah, Dan just got fired, but he got a lot of money to go away.
Yeah, he
run out the back door.
Almost $3 million, by the way.
Yeah, $2.8 million or something that they've got to pay the fool.
Yeah, he got to go out the front door this time for once in his life.
I mean, look, it may end up costing Coach Pittman his job. I mean, Coach Pittman will get paid a lot of money, but to if they make it. But I will ask this question though, because they had trouble filling the job the last time, and Pittman was about 5th or 6th choice, whatever. Trey Biddy will tell you that because nobody wanted the job. It was in really bad shape. Now, the program's in much better shape than when Chad Morris left it. But who are you going to hire? Are you going to go hire Kendall Briles as head coach because of what he did offensively, but he's young and he's never been a head coach before? Are you going to go hire my man over at SMU? But even though SMU's got a lot of money in there, and here's the thing now with SMU, they're moving into the ACC. They're moving into a Power 5 conference, so they're going to have money. So that's what I mean. I don't know that it's a layup as to who you hire.
I don't think you get rid of Pittman. At this point,
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't say that now either.
He just, especially with all the portal, the amount of players that went into the portal and that he had to pluck out, plus new coordinators. Listen, I know Arkansas fans are just jonesing for a title out there. I think Pittman's the right fit. I really do.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying that just for let's just beat Arkansas and beat them over the head. I think he's the right guy for the job.
Don't forget, Rhett Lashley is the coach at SMU, but where did Chad Morris come from?
Well,
Lord. Yeah. I mean, that would be what people would be afraid of.
And these people talking about penalties from the game. Last year, Alabama, Tennessee, we had 10 pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, Alabama had some legit penalties in the game. And Tennessee's noise affected it. Now, I thought 2 or 3 down the stretch were garbage penalties, but that decided the game. But Alabama was undisciplined. There's no question about it, and that's another good reason why Wild Turkey's gone.
Well, and I told several people last year because I was at that game. I said, look, Jahmyr Gibbs catches the ball on second down, we win the ball game, and all that crap is water under the bridge. We had a chance last year, despite all the crap we put ourselves in.
And Will Reichert missed a field goal. Don't forget that. That's
it was a 50-yard field goal.
And he made up for it this year, by the way.
With a 50-yard field goal.
Yep.
Well, but that's what I told people. I said, even after all that, we still had a chance to beat them. I was like, don't whine about penalties. You had 2 scoring chances to put the ball game away and couldn't do it. And that's why the only penalty I said anything about was the one where I had time to make a sandwich before the flag came out. That was dumb. I mean, 8.5, 9 seconds before a flag comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's circa Miami, Ohio State 2001. That crap should never happen. To me, if a flag ain't out in 3 seconds, it shouldn't be able to be thrown. I feel that way about it anyway. But I just want to tell the frat guys over at Alabama.
We got you.
There was a couple.
Oh boy.
You there?
Bumped into a bad cell. It may be the fans from the University of Tennessee taking over your cell signal. But yes, he texted me the sign.
Yeah.
And
I'm still here.
Okay. Go ahead, Brandon.
I said there was a couple of signs that I was watching, and my wife was not wanting me to take pictures because I was drawing attention to it with my kids. But the one they did where they said that Bobby was the love child of Joe Biden and Lou Ann, that was some good stuff. And it had the Heupel's picture.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. That was the sign game is strong. If you don't get to walk by all the frat houses and see all the signs they put out on the way to the game.
Hey, my personal favorite that you sent me was, "Hey, I'm so excited! I'm going to be a daddy. My sister's pregnant."
Yes, that was another good one. That was the one my wife did not want me to take a picture of because my daughter's old enough to read now, and
yeah.
Yeah, I don't need her going to 2nd grade and tell all my wife's coworkers about the sign. At the game.
I really want her to go to class this morning. So what did you learn about this weekend?
Oh, Lord.
Because when we started walking down through there, I said, "Oh, yeah, baby, here comes Sign City." And my wife says, "Oh, God."
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the phone call. Let's go ahead and take our final timeout here in hour number 1. We're interview heavy. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll take your phone calls on the other side. Wolverine Dan, you're first up. Did the Detroit Lions go into the witness protection program? We'll find out right after this.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had one wreck showing 72 in County Line. I think that one was a no injury, so it should move out of the way quickly. Traffic signal problem reported at Triana and Drake. HPD was watching that one till they could get it back online. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
These days, saving time is important, and saving money is even more so. That's where Eagle Masonry and Insulation comes in. Over the years, Eagle has expanded their services to meet the needs of folks like you in our area. If your home needs updating or you have some projects that you just haven't gotten to, Eagle can help. They install shower doors, mirrors, shelving, blinds, bath hardware, and lots more. Call Eagle Masonry and Insulation today at 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time, and Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
The Lodge at Guntersville State Park. From the gorgeous long views of the lake from the Bluff Side rooms to dinner at the Pinecrest room, Guntersville State Park needs to be on your bucket list this year. What an ideal place for a family staycation or a romantic getaway. Guntersville State Park has it all. This is a great time to book your visit, and depending on the time of year, you might want to bring the clubs and take in a round at Eagle's Nest. Make plans today to visit the Lodge at Guntersville State Park. If it didn't exist, you'd have to invent it. Guntersville State Park.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at BobWallaceAppliance.com.
It's a Monday morning edition of Talkin' Ball. Scott Tyson is out today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. You're stuck with me, but Drew DeArmond is here as well. Steve Moulton here with you, 256-576-4977. Wolverine Dan is up next. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing this morning?
Good,
We're
good.
doing good, Dan.
Did the household look okay this morning when you drove by?
You know, I have not been by there yet. I had a couple projects. I'm working on a project here, and then my wife couldn't find her necklace, so she was having a little meltdown, and I melted down too a little bit because there's a lot of sentimental value to it, and we found it. So thank God we
Good.
So, you know, fellas, it gets me to this, that it's scary as you get older, guys. You know, some of my phone calls, I have like brain farts and I forget stuff. So, Drew, I tell you, I'm not happy about it.
What aren't you happy?
What are you not happy about, Dan?
Well, I forget things, for crying out loud.
Oh,
As you
yeah.
get older, guys.
Well, it just happens. I forget stuff all the time.
Well,
yeah.
we got somebody that's running the country that forgets all the time. Oh my God. Anyway, with that said, let's touch on sports. That's what I want to talk about.
Please.
So, I've got a couple of positives and a negative. So, well, let's start with the negative. Okay. The game Sunday was not good, and I mentioned that before I got to the game itself. I mentioned that Jackson was going to be a tough out. He has very good skills running and throwing. A lot of those passes previous game when we played Tampa, Mayfield can't make those throws, but Jackson can, and those wide receivers were open, which made me a little nervous. So Jackson's just a better caliber quarterback. I knew it was going to be difficult. It's at their place. But, you know, I did notice a couple things. There were the Baltimore Ravens beat us fair and square, but there was a lot of holding. They held a lot. There's just no doubt about it. I saw a lot of holds that were called. And then the Beckham toward the end of the game targeting. I didn't know that they would call an offensive player for targeting, but Drew and Steve, that was definitely a target. So he should have been out of the game. This should have been a penalty, but there wasn't. It is what it is. But I'll finish on the Lions with this. You know, we're first off, it was an AFC team we lost to.
Yeah.
Not an NFC team,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
The second thing, it was not a division team
Correct.
in our division, all right? So those are two good things right now. And then the third thing, the Bears are 2-5,
Yeah.
Packers are 2-4, and the Vikings right now, I believe they're 2-4. They're playing
2-4
the 49ers
tonight.
so they very well could be 2-5. And then we have 8 days off. We play Monday night against a Raider team, which is 3-4. And so we don't have a lot of tough games coming up. So along with the records of our teams in our division.
Oh yeah, you're sitting pretty. You're sitting pretty.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I'm not going to lose my mind over this game. Am I disappointed? You betcha. I always want to. Everybody wants their team to win. But you know what?
Dan, the only thing I will say is I know who did beat the Buccaneers.
It was ugly.
That'd be the Atlanta Falcons. That was as ugly of a game as
Ritter is terrible.
Oh my God,
he is awful.
Desmond Ritter is just awful.
I mean, he just a turnover machine. He Cadillacs it and fumbles through the end
even
zone.
at the end with the game-winning call by Wes Durham, I could hear it in his voice. Oh my God, we've won the game. We won the game.
Go ahead,
in
Dan.
closing, I didn't talk about Michigan real quickly. I'll
Yeah.
put that aside. Let's talk about something else real quickly. Red Wings are 5-1, 30 goals already, leads the NHL.
Nice.
Good job.
By the way, good weekend as well for the Huntsville Havoc, as they are off to a 2-0 start. Home opener for the Havoc on Friday.
No Glenn. That is weird.
It really is. But Stu, it's a long time coming for Stuart Steffen, the new head coach. Coming up on the other side, Travis Ryer. Going to talk a little Alabama with him.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.bank/VSiN.
Monday Night Football, the 49ers and Vikings battle in Minnesota. The Vikings are 2-4, 0-3 at home. The 5-1 Niners are 2-1 away from home. On the injury report, San Francisco will be without wide receiver Deebo Samuel. Trent Williams is doubtful. Christian McCaffrey and Dre Greenlaw, both questionable for the game. Ezra Cleveland is out for the Vikings. On the money line, the Niners at -295, Minnesota at +250 on the upset. San Francisco favored by 6.5. The over-under is 43. The Niners and Chiefs, the top two betting favorites for the Super Bowl. San Francisco +460, Kansas City +475. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour number 2 here on a Monday. Along with Drew DeArmond, Steve Moulton here with you. Don't worry, Scott will be back here in the chair on Thursday. Here is what Coach Nick Saban had to say post-game after the third Saturday in October 34-20 victory over the Tennessee Volunteers.
All right. Well, obviously a pretty fun second half. Really proud of our players. When I walked in at halftime after they scored right before the half, I said, everybody here has got a choice. You got a choice to make. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? Everybody's got to choose what they want. And we went out and scored in 2 plays in the second half in the first drive on offense and changed the momentum of the game and, played really well from that time on. And, Tennessee's got a really good team. And, I'm really proud of our players for the way they competed in the game and came back and the way they took care of business in the second half. But, we got a bye week coming up. So, probably need to get a little rest for some of our guys. And, but, we got more business to take care of in the future. But for right now, everybody should enjoy this. It's a great win for us. We had a great atmosphere in the stadium. Our fans were fantastic. They had a huge impact on the game in terms of the penalties at the end of the game and not allowing them to score. So I just can't tell you how pleased and proud I am with everybody in the organization who puts a lot into it. So that we can, have games like this, have atmospheres like this, and have the opportunity to compete like this for our players. So really, really proud of our team. And it was a great team win. I mean, 27-0 in the second half was pretty good offense and really good defense.
Something else that had just kind of hit me during that time listening to Coach Saban again, Drew, that's the first time since Mississippi State, he went ballistic at the end. Texas A&M, he went ballistic at the end. Arkansas, he went ballistic at the end. He didn't do that.
He did.
Did he really?
Yeah, when they dropped the punt.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the very end of the game.
Well, that was still toward the end. It was the last 7 minutes, man. He went ballistic. I mean, you got to catch a punt, brother. I mean, that was the only, I thought, black mark of the second half, and we'll talk about that.
And again, tomorrow morning, I'm going to bring in Kool-Aid.
And more with our next guest, who joins us weekly. He does an outstanding job as the senior analyst for BamaOnline.com since 2003. He has the daily SEC Second Helping podcast with Brent Beard, also Talkin' Tide with Chase Goodbread, and he does a great job with the BOL podcast, and he's a huge part of the new BOL, BamaOnline.com YouTube channel where he can show off his couple of hats that are very spiffy and are probably going to be selling at some point in time, and that's Travis Rye. Travis, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
We're good. We got Steve Moulton sitting in for Scott. So, Travis, I watched your second watch. Always good stuff. That's one of your new features that you do after every game. We always pick your brain. What was the first thing that stood out to you about this Alabama win and that second half performance against Tennessee?
You said it, the second half performance, because the first half was all balls. The balls offensively, as we know, like to go fast and want to roll up plays. And had 29 offensive snaps in the first quarter alone. Alabama was effective and fortunate in some instances to get off the field, allowing just 3 points. I think that showed up big later in the game. It could have been 28-7 Tennessee with a couple of more efficient performances in the red zone. But to overcome that deficit, and especially and more specifically with the way that second quarter ended, and we've heard a lot about the resiliency of this team, and they came out in the third quarter, needed just 2 plays to get in the end zone, and kind of there at 20-14 with basically all of the second half to play, you're thinking Tennessee let some opportunities get away. Alabama prevented some of that, and now Alabama's in a really good spot, especially if this defense shows up and plays to its capability, and it obviously did that in the second half. Better job against the run. Going into this game, if you had told me Jalen Wright was going to finish 11 carries for 22 yards, I would have told you I liked Alabama's chances. Now, Joe Moulton did some things with his legs, but Alabama did a great job against that trio of Tennessee backs and taking away those guys. Did a great job on fourth down. Ball's 0 for 3 on fourth. And then offensively, kind of more of the balance that you want to see with the run game, picking it up in the second half and kind of creating some easier touches for bigger plays from Tommy Reese and the offensive staff. And the kicking game, too. Will Reichard makes the 50-yarder. He's perfect in the game. I know you guys mentioned Kool-Aid and the continued mishaps on punt returns, but otherwise, special teams were really solid, too. So complimentary football, I guess you could call it there in the second half. Offense, defense, special teams sort of working in the same direction.
Well, and Travis, I did think one of the positives for Alabama, I thought in the second quarter we started seeing some offensive creativity, some different things by Tommy Rees. I really liked what I call the Debo, which was the speed sweeps to Kendrick Law. I thought he started showing some different stuff. And then in the second half, I thought he called a really brilliant game. And I think you see now, if Milroe is a willing runner, how this opens up things for Jace and the passing game.
Yeah, no doubt. It's some things that we have seen from previous Alabama offenses that we hadn't really seen over the first half of the season. Jet sweeps being chief among those. I think we saw a jet to Amari Niblack, the tight end, in the Mississippi State game. Other than that, not a lot. And it wasn't just that. It was, getting Jalen on the move off of zone read action.
Right, right.
Easy little dump out to Isaiah Bond there in the first half, where he made quite the impression on Kamal Haddon, the Tennessee corner, at the end of the play, moving Jalen off of that action to his right and bringing C.J. Dupree across the middle of the field for a nice completion there in the second half. So absolutely just diversity in a multitude of ways, and even pre-snap, more orbit-type motion, more motions in general, giving defenses more than just 1 or 2 pitches to worry about, not just a fastball and a serviceable maybe change of speed, but incorporating third and fourth pitches. And I think that's good news for the Alabama offense, because that upcoming stretch, beginning with LSU in November and then going on the road to Kentucky, those are things you can build on. And this team now, especially after that second half, looking a lot more like the team a lot of us anticipated Alabama being going into November. Through the first half on Saturday, it was kind of like, wow, where's the evolution of this club that we anticipated? It didn't seem to be taking place, but different thoughts about this team after that second half.
Talking to Travis Reier right now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and we talked a little offense there. Defensively, it really felt like, boy, when I didn't see 17 out there, I was thinking it was going to be a big, big deal, but this defense is absorbing some major blows in terms of guys not necessarily on the field, but some depth is starting to creep in, some quality depth, Travis.
Yeah, I thought Trey Amos came in for Terrion Arnold and did a really nice job at corner. You heard Nick talk about it in the post game, even on the sack fumble that Chris Braswell had that was recovered and returned by Jahad Campbell for a touchdown. Nick felt like it was initially the coverage from Amos that really made Moulton hold the ball just that extra half second longer that gave Braswell the chance to get home. So, that's why you go to the portal these days too. You think about some of the guys that Alabama was able to add by going that route. Pretty good hit rate, especially at corner and safety with Jalen Key, a starter, to go along with Trey Amos. And, that's why you do it. Trez Marshall at the inside linebacker position. It's not always about quantity. It's about quality. Maybe in retrospect, if there had been another Tyler Steen that they could have nabbed at the tackle position, they would have done that. But otherwise, good work there. And you're right, the depth shows up in other areas of this team as well. And so they're getting solid contributions. It's not as much of a star-dependent team, although they still have star power. And it's a good thing that they're getting it from different guys because it's really carried them to this point.
And Travis, one thing that I can't help but think about week to week, because when I see the way he's developed, is he was on that path before he got hurt last year, but an under the radar part of this defense. Certainly I think Coach Steele coming in, he and T-Rob working together, and in the cohesion and the communication is better. But it's also about Jimmy's and Joe's, and having a Boygby back healthy and the way he's playing, he's having an all-SEC type year.
He is, and he gives them so many different things. He's a strong presence on early downs against the run. You can use him in your big nickel as an edge opposite Dallas Turner or Chris Braswell. You can move him inside in some three-man pass rush, and even late in the game. Alabama's up 14 Saturday, under a minute to go, and a Boygby's, working at a breakneck rate to try to, and that's an awful pun, I know, but to get to the quarterback, to create pressure. So he's been exactly what they needed, not only in terms of the presence he is physically, but the intangibles too. Great leader, great teammate, and you're seeing other guys come along with him now too. And Tim Keenan continues to play at a high level. Jaheim Otis, Tim Smith, really probably more of one of the undersung heroes of this defense to this point. He was huge on one of those fourth down stops there in the second half for the Alabama defense. So another area, like Steve was alluding to, that they're getting it from more than just one guy.
And then I've got to ask you, before we switch to hoops and some of the intel we got yesterday, we were half joking about Kool-Aid, and I love him. He's the best I think he's the best corner in the SEC, if not in the top 2 or 3. But does he have the yips, Travis? Do you have to make a change at punt returner at this point?
It's a tough call because Nick loves Kool-Aid.
He does,
and he
yes.
Trusts him. He trusts Kool-Aid. And
yeah.
That's just as, or if not more important than anything else. But I know the question has got to have been asked at this point, and it's something they're evaluating. I talked about this on Instant Analysis after the game on our YouTube channel Saturday night. If it were also an area that you feel like is truly going to impact Kool-Aid's big picture future, say in the NFL, and it offers him more in the way of value with those folks, it might be an even tougher decision to make. But that's not really the case. Kool-Aid's going to be a corner in the NFL, maybe even play some slot corner in the NFL. You just don't see guys these days, positional players, high-level positional players, returning many kicks, do you?
Right.
The days
That's
of
a good point.
Deion Sanders are kind of over. Deion play corner and then go back there and return a punt 89 yards for a touchdown. You just don't see that in the NFL anymore. So I don't see that, and I don't see that being a part of the process anyway, because Nick and that staff, they're worried about right now today. But even from the bigger picture vantage point, that shouldn't be a concern. And, you also think you've seen this guy produce explosive plays in the return game if he can just field the ball cleanly.
Mm-hmm.
But confidence is a tough thing, and you're worried that kind of like Seth McLaughlin with the shotgun snaps. At what point is it mental? And, yeah, that's a tough one. They've got other guys that can do it. We saw in the spring Isaiah Bond can catch punts. Caleb Downs can catch punts. I'm sure Kendrick Law can do it. So that will be one of the more intriguing storylines coming out of the bye week.
And now we saw the box score leaked, as usually is the case. Alabama played TCU in Birmingham. It was 85-81. The Horned Frogs get the win. They're going to play Wake Forest this coming Sunday on the road. That'll be on the network here on our station. But some very encouraging signs from that box score, Travis, including Sam Walters.
Yeah, and in comparison to the scrimmage against TCU out in Fort Worth, Dallas area last year.
That was an annihilation. That was a Tennessee second half.
More competitive. Now, look, these are scrimmages, and, both teams are trying to play different mixes and get everybody involved. But, wow, how about Sam Walters with 29? And he can shoot the three, but 7 of 12 from there, that bodes well for a team that, you're looking to replace some of that production. And Grant Nelson with the kind of, stat line that you would expect. Same for Aaron Estrada. So I think if you're an Alabama fan, you're encouraged because Estrada, Nelson, without Mark Sears playing in the scrimmage, Jaron Stevenson giving you 10 points, kind of the things you expected or hoped for from certain names. And then Walters, you knew and from his recruitment, more so the physical advances that he needed to make, as a freshman. But there was no question about his ability to shoot the basketball, and that was reaffirmed apparently in the scrimmage.
How many Quinterleys are on this roster? Are they up to 4 or 5? Is there 8 Quinterleys on this team?
Nah, I think the Quinterleys have been replaced by Muhammad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They didn't. Neither one of them played, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, but I will say this too, Travis, and they played without Rylan Griffin playing well. I mean, he did not have a good offensive game.
Yeah, and that's why you love having guys like Walters and some versatility too. And Estrada, you're going to have him on the basketball, but he showed you he can score 19 points if that's what you need from him. Obviously, TCU got a really nice contribution from Jameer Nelson Jr.
God, I'm old.
The Delaware Blue Hen previously. So
I felt the same thing. Just being old, I'm sorry, Travis. Drew saying,
yeah, it's just so crazy.
It was. I'd say it was a pretty positive outing for Alabama.
No question. Well, Travis, we know the YouTube channel's exploding. You got a lot of content on there. You do a great job with the second watch. You talked about the instant analysis. Certainly Alabama will be practicing this week, but what is the plans for BamaOnline.com during this bye week with no football on Saturday but some hoops on Sunday?
Well, we're going to have continued coverage for you, certainly, throughout the week. Going to try to get away a little bit here over the back half of the week. That's an annual tradition. Anniversary week and birthday week for the misses. So we usually – it coincides nicely with Nick Saban's birthday, which of course means the SEC gives Alabama the week off in celebration of that. But no, we'll have plenty of stuff for you at BamaOnline.com. We'll also continue to update you there on our new YouTube channel, the Bama Online home for everything video these days. You're going to find right there on YouTube.
Well, we wish her a happy birthday and happy anniversary to you guys. It's been a great one. You have a great family, and we appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
It's Travis Ryer joining us. Fall wedding. I know what your Wednesday guest thinks about that.
Yeah. Oh, I know. We hope to reconnect with him. He was busy. He got called up for duty in the mothership, CBS Sports last week.
He wasn't in his normal white T-shirt.
No.
He was actually in a suit.
No, he was spiffy, man.
I mean,
we got to ask him about being spiffy and getting suits, man.
Josh Pate is who we
are
referencing.
And I couldn't help but laugh. He tweeted Saturday night, man, what it would be like to have an instant reaction show, like right after some of these games.
Well,
yeah.
Here in the Deep South, we are turning that into a fine wine down here. The instant reaction.
And we're going to have
shows.
instant reaction from Jake Crane here in a few minutes, too.
That's right.
He never lacks for opinions.
No, he does not. We'll find out whether or not Jake can throw for more yardage than the Auburn quarterbacks later on here in this second hour. Your phone calls, though, we'll squeeze them in next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At a chase going on in Lawrence County, it sounded like that they've ended it near the west end of the county there. They got one person in custody. They ended up ramming a vehicle. Swan caught southbound at 565. That one had a minor injury. 4 Mile in Bailey Cove, nobody hurt. 431 in Sutton's in a parking lot. 72 in East Limestone, also reported as no injury. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
The representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is driven by you, driven by those with grit, determination, and a goal to succeed. This is why we do what we do. The Huntsville Sports Commission promotes an enhanced quality of life in the Huntsville area through sports. We work hard to make sure those who come to Huntsville to compete have all they need to be the best they can be. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. Find out more at huntsvillesports.org.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. It's hunting and tailgate season and time to get serious about an F-150. We've got nearly 140 to choose from, and without a doubt, one of the best F-150 values on the road today is our STX package. You get 290 hard-working horses mated to a 10-speed transmission that'll take you everywhere, from that tree stand to downtown Tuscaloosa. Body-colored bumpers, halogen headlamps, 20-inch machined aluminum wheels, and lots of tech, like a rear-view camera with dynamic hitch assist, which you boaters and RVers will love. A 2023 Woody Anderson Ford F-150 STX packs a punch, but it doesn't cost you a bunch. You can drive one for $474 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $51.66 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends October 31st. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come test drive an F-150 STX today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Time to squeeze in a couple of calls here before we talk to Jake Crane. 256-576-4977. It's Talkin' Ball on a Monday morning. Ray is up next. Appreciate you calling back in, Ray. How are you this morning?
I'm well. How we doing, guys?
Doing
Good,
well.
Ray. How are you, bro?
Doing all right. I tweeted Steve something. I didn't know if y'all saw it, to ask Travis Ryer about
my bad.
turnover margin.
Okay, we did not see
With
it. At
Alabama.
least I didn't see it.
That's on me.
We didn't see that. So, what was your question going to be about? Turnover margin?
Yeah, no. Alabama has consistently since 2018 kind of dropped
right
in turnover margin, and I'm wondering if that is not something, I don't know, getting overlooked, but pushed to the back burner as something that could be a game-changing circumstance.
Well, Ray, I'll say this: that they didn't force enough turnovers last year for sure. They've been a little more ball hawkish. I mean, this year the interceptions, I think they've already either equaled or almost equaled from a year ago as a total, as a team. They did have the strip sack fumble, and somebody pointed out to me, I think it was JimmyLayavail.com, I think Alabama scored a defensive touchdown against Tennessee every year since 18.
Wow.
So they've –
Yeah, let me look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2018 it was plus 10. In 2019 it was plus 16.
Right.
In 2020 it was plus 9.
Mm-hmm.
In 2021 it was plus 6. Last year was even.
Yeah, it was
this
even.
year so far is plus 2.
Yeah, so they've done a little bit better job this year. Now it's going to be interesting to see how they attack LSU, because we've all known this was coming. And LSU's lost a couple of games, but they're far and away still the best offense in the league. And you could argue that the second best offense is Missouri's. And they played a 49-39 shootout over in Como. But again, I just think and Alabama doesn't have Missouri on the schedule, but
not yet.
No, well, yeah, I mean, they could still win the Eastern Division, I guess, theoretically. But Jaden Daniels is so good. LSU doesn't have a weakness offensively. It's going to be a really, really interesting chess match between Travarius Robinson, Coach Steele, and then Kelly Denbrock and all these guys on offense for LSU.
Because it's my instinct to think, and it's 2 weeks till game day, but my instinct is, given how LSU looks versus how Alabama has looked, totality speaking, specifically on offense versus offense, Alabama may have to steal a possession or two to win that game.
Yeah, I'd say that. They're going to have to turn LSU over some. They're going to have to force mistakes, no question. And maybe get – I think I said this at the start of the show, Ray. I don't know if you heard it, but I think they're going to need 3 or 4 stops in the game, and that's counting turnovers. They're going to have to find a way to get LSU off the field. I mean, that's why the Dolphins lost last night. The whole fourth quarter, they couldn't get the Eagles off the field. The Eagles, it was 4th and a foot, 4th and 1, 4th and whatever, and they're going for it every time. Now, did I think it was sound strategy by Sirianni to go for it inside your own 30? Not really, because if you screw something up, you give the Dolphins probably a touchdown. But they executed, okay? Give them credit, and they actually understand what going under center is, unlike most of these morons that do all these analytics and everything like that.
No, it's if Alabama plays the rest of the season the way they did in the second half against Tennessee, I really like their chances to win out. And that means I have an opportunity to raise the trophy.
But you said it right there, Ray.
But
the second half, there was still a first half to deal with.
They have to build on that, Ray. I agree with you.
said, they've been so inconsistent. I really like that they let Milroe run some RPO. I think that's where the Alabama offense, given its personnel, is at their best. Because right now defenses don't have to defend 45 yards of the field.
Well, Ray, I want to make a point about that. They didn't let him. He finally did it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not about letting him. He has to willingly do it, brother.
Well, we've seen flashes of it, including the touchdown run at Mississippi State.
Well, he did it against Middle Tennessee in the first game. He just doesn't willingly do it a lot of times, or he reads it incorrectly.
He's a pocket passer.
Yeah, the definition of insanity.
He's a pocket passer.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk more SEC with Jake Crane. He'll join us next. More about the pocket passer next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At a chase going on in Lawrence County, it sounded like that they've ended it near the west end of the county there. They got one person in custody. They ended up ramming a vehicle. Swan caught southbound at 565. That one had a minor injury. 4 Mile in Bailey Cove, nobody hurt. 431 in Sutton's in a parking lot. 72 in East Limestone, also reported as no injury. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. What's better than 2 in-zone sports bars? 3 in-zone sports bars. And we have you covered with our original location on University across from Red Lobster, in Jones Valley on Cecil Ashburn near Carl T. Jones, and our newest location in the Midtown District on McMurtry Drive opposite the Target Plaza. All locations feature the NFL Sunday Ticket, Tuesday half-price burgers, and Wednesday $1 jumbo wings all day long. You're never far from the end zone. In-zone Sports Bar.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Not sure if our next guest approves of this song.
No, look, man, he He is look, we all know who his father was, and we all know that he loves Auburn, but he's also a very objective guy.
Do Auburn fans like this song? Or is
Probably
it just,
not.
I mean, I don't know.
Tennessee fans were claiming it was their song, okay? That's what I was getting told in the stadium as they were getting brained. Yes, that's what we were talking about. But we are going to enjoy our segment with our weekly guest. He is co-host of Crane and Company via the Real Daily Wire. They just got off. They were on there from 6:30 to 8. They have one of the best shows in the country. We're very blessed and fortunate that he joins us each week. And Jake Crane is going to talk some college football. Jake, welcome back to the show. And do Auburn fans like that song? I would think not.
Well, it just depends on, what phrase you're uttering right after they hit Alabama. It just depends. I think a lot of it depends on where you are.
Right.
Are there some Auburn lyrics we don't know about, Jake?
Oh, yeah. Well, either, you're saying the Roll Tide Roll after Sweet Home Alabama or War Damn Eagle. I mean, it just depends on, depends on what night you go to the floor of Bama, I guess.
Well, let's talk about the Auburn game. You were outspoken on Twitter. As you said, it is what it is. They're not where they need to be on offense, and from a quarterback or wide receiver perspective, even the offensive line, even though I think the O-line's improved. But there's not anything they can do right now about the quarterback and the receivers.
Yeah, look, there needs to be criticism. I've been critical of some of the coaching decisions that Auburn has made. But I think the main criticism is you missed on the portal at quarterback and wide receiver. I mean, Hooks, starting to make sense why Deion didn't take him to Colorado with him. But then, Peyton Thorne, he's a different guy at home than he is on the road. But I feel like that's the most fair criticism. I see a lot of people that are like, why doesn't Auburn offensively, why don't they go up tempo? Why don't you just say screw it and go fast? Well, like in theory, if you just had to worry about one side of the ball, it makes sense, I guess, to throw another loop for the defense. But Auburn's problem is, they've been able to stay in games because of the defense. And Auburn doesn't have a ton of depth defensively. So if your answer is, well, why don't we take our worst side of the ball, which is offense, and go even faster? They can barely get a first down when we go normal tempo. But if you go fast, you're going to add another 25, 30 snaps onto a defense that's already having to punch above their weight because they're on the field the whole time. Your job as a coach is to put your team on the best possible path to victory. Obviously, you want to do that with the players you bring in, but if you're deficient at different places, you still have to put your team in the best position to win. Auburn's best course of action to try and win these games where the other team has better players is to try and dribble the shot clock down and get a shot at the end, keep it low scoring, keep it slow, and give yourself a chance in the last 5 minutes to win the game. And it's unfortunate. That's not what Hugh Freeze wants. I mean, Hugh Freeze is an offensive guy. Go back and look at every offense Hugh Freeze has ever had. He doesn't want to do this. This is a product of who Auburn has personnel-wise. So it's a tough spot, and I get Auburn fans are frustrated, but as I'll continue to say, this is the worst team that Hugh Freeze will have at Auburn, and you're trying to look competitive right now, and the best way to keep these games competitive is to play it at the pace they're playing it at.
I couldn't agree more. That I think Auburn fans in particular, Jake, need to realize who they're playing against and what kind of level of talent they're playing against. And the fact that they have opportunities to win these games outside of the LSU game just speaks to at least what kind of head coach they have down on the Plains.
Well, and listen, as I've always said, losing should never be accepted at Auburn, but reality should. This is year one. You have got to give this man time. There's been a lot of coaches that look like geniuses because they had better players than the other teams, and there's been a lot of very smart coaches that look like idiots because they didn't have good enough players. It could be worse. You could be in year 4 and be at Arkansas and losing to Mississippi State 7-3 at home and losing 6 straight games. It could be a lot worse. So it's going to take some time. It always was. And it doesn't help that it's an ugly style of ball. Yeah. If you were losing games where, the defense just couldn't stop anybody and you were losing 45-31, there are people that will accept that a lot more than losing the way that Auburn is losing. But there's no great answer for what Auburn has right now. From a person, what are you going to do? Start Peyton Thorne at quarterback at home games, and then start Robbie Ashford on the road? It doesn't work like that.
Well, and I will say this: you just brought up Arkansas and how bad they've looked, and he obviously hired the wrong OC in Dan Enos, who tried to fit a square peg in a round hole with KJ, who was a multi-year starter. But the schedule, theoretically, no game is going to be easy for this Auburn team because they lack firepower offensively. But it lightens up somewhat here the last, in the next 4 games. Auburn could make a run here.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I wouldn't sit here and say, all right, well, here we go. Auburn's about to get hot and go on the run. There's going to be a lot more competitive balance in these games. They can get away with more in some of these games than they've gotten away with. I don't think the defense is going to be as outmanned as they were against LSU and Ole Miss, and they put up good efforts there. And offensively, who knows? I mean, I don't think Auburn's going to come out and blow the balls out of the scoreboard against anybody. But this style of game and the way Auburn's roster's put together, obviously the lighter the team, the better the chance they have to win. But I will say this about Arkansas. I think it's deeper than just Dan Enos.
Really?
I mean, you're 4 years in. How is Arkansas not have a dominant offensive line with Sam Pittman?
That's true.
It's so weird. It's so weird to see Arkansas, a place that is known for running the ball. I always say Wisconsin is the Arkansas of the North, and Arkansas is the Wisconsin of the South. Typically, you think huge offensive line, good run game, decent passing game. Then you bring in an offensive line guru as a head coach, and you mix that with Arkansas's tradition, and you would think it'd just be a bunch of Siberian cave trolls bashing their head against lockers, getting 4.5, 5 yards a carry. But it's been the opposite of that. And I understand Dan was trying to protect KJ because every year KJ Jefferson's been at Arkansas, he gets hurt halfway through the year because they just, as big as he is, they just run him into a wall 20 times a game. So it's a tough spot. Arkansas is just not a good football team.
Yeah.
Jake, rank the following programs for me right now. Current state of these programs. I'm going to put Kentucky, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Auburn.
I would say like health going forward, or like who the best team is right
moving
now?
forward. Health moving forward.
Right.
I would say that Kentucky is probably the most stable because you know who Mark Stoops is. We kind of know what Kentucky is. Nobody's shocked about the last couple weeks. You don't have to go win 10 games at Kentucky. You don't worry about a coaching change there unless something crazy happens. So I would actually put stability and future Kentucky number 1. It's Auburn's hard because it's year 1 under Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
I can't rank them high because they've got to show it to me first. So I'll go stability-wise. I'll actually go South Carolina second because I don't think they're going to fire Shane Beamer. As bad as this year has been, I think the heat's really going to be on him next year, but they are recruiting at a pretty good clip up front. Losing Spencer Rattler hurts, but I don't see them making a change. I would put you said A&M, Auburn, and Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
I would put Auburn next because I think A&M may move on from Jimbo. I think they may move on from the end of this year. Then I would put Auburn past A&M just because they're an unknown, but they're probably going to be more stable down the stretch than A&M is. There's an argument. And I think Arkansas and Sam Pittman are done. I got to rank them last.
Now, we know they got a win, and it really helped them because they were kind of in a tailspin. Is Zach Arnett in any kind of trouble in the first year? Because he took over in just unbelievable, extenuating circumstances, but they have not looked good, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to fire him after year 1. You brought up the circumstance. Yeah, you need more time than that anyway. I mean, you're transitioning from an air raid offense to a more balanced system. You've got a first-year head coach that was a coordinator that got thrust into that role. I think they're going to at least give him through next year. If next year is just an absolute disaster and it looks like there's no hope, I think they would probably move on from Zach Arnett, but I don't see anything this year happening that would lend to him being let go.
On the opposite side of the coin, Jake, are we not talking enough about what Billy is doing down in Gainesville with the Florida Gators? I know it's a big week. I know they're coming off of a bye week, but they just keep winning.
Yeah, look, I didn't expect Florida to have 5 wins at this point. You know, we talked all offseason about Florida fans needing to be patient with Billy Napier. You know, you could kind of see what was going on in recruiting. This early success has only added to that. It's one of the most intriguing storylines of the season so far. Now, there's a lot of season left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
It could fall off a cliff. I mean, outside of Arkansas, I don't know if they're going to be favored in many of these games they're playing. But it's really calmed down, a seat that was kind of warming up. And then you look at their schedule next year. If they just absolutely fell off a cliff this year, it could be some big problems for Billy and his future in Gainesville with the schedule they have next year. But look, Florida's one of those places. All you need is a spark to start a wildfire, and they've got confidence. It recruits itself. And Billy's doing with a quarterback in Graham Mertz that really doesn't fit his past style, where they get in that pistol, they run that zone read, they run the RPO stuff off of it, where the quarterback can create with his legs. I mean, Graham Mertz, he isn't, the worst runner of all time, but he's not going to be, competing against the Jamaicans in the Olympics anytime soon either. So it's been a very intriguing story.
Well, and speaking of that, what did you think of Penn State and Ohio State? I said earlier in the show, besides Marvin Harrison Jr., who's just a freakazoid, I was not impressed with either team that much. What did you think of that game?
Well, it went exactly like how we thought it was going to go. Penn State, to me, hadn't proven the ability to hit enough explosive plays. Because in that game, you're not going to just march 10, 11, 12 plays against those defenses and score. You're going to have to hit some chunk plays. Well, we know what Marvin Harrison Jr. is. We know what Cade Stover is. McBook ended up being hurt and not playing. But we've seen Ohio State have the capability to hit at least a couple explosive plays. And in that game, that was all that was needed. And everybody all week, all the Penn State fans we had calling us up saying, listen, Drew Aller, they've been saving all these plays. They've just been having to rely on their defense and run game because it's been smart to protect them and save all these plays. Well, you don't just build chemistry during practice. Building chemistry in the game and in practice are two totally different things. That's when you really build chemistry, is in the game. And you know what Penn State looked like from a passing standpoint? And it wasn't for lack of trying. They threw the ball 42 times. They look like a team that hasn't had to throw it a lot, and they looked sped up. They looked like they had no timing. They looked like it was forced. They tried to pitch backwards a little bit on early downs with play action, but even that, there was no rhythm to the passing game. It's because they hadn't taken the car out and test drove it a few times. They just thought they were going to get on the track and win the Talladega 500.
Mm-hmm. Maybe another way to ask this question, who would you want as your head coach right now to be in charge of your football program? Mark Stoops, Shane Beamer, Jimbo Fisher, Sam Pittman, or Hugh Freeze? I know my answer.
Give me Hugh Freeze.
Yes.
Give me Hugh Freeze.
I would have to say Freeze. I think he's the best tactician of the group.
Yeah, I think he's, you look at what he's done in the past, everybody says, oh, you're just saying that because,
No,
like
I'm saying it. I'll be saying it too.
Who's proven more? Maybe Mark Stoops a little bit, but it's not like they've just won huge at Kentucky the whole time.
Yeah. They make rings for bowl victories. I wouldn't
done
want a ring for a bowl victory. I'd want a ring for an SEC championship.
Now, I've got to ask you this, Jake. Yeah, go ahead. But I was going to say is, go ahead, Jake. Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. I agree.
No, I wanted to ask you, though, about the Heisman. We've been talking about this today. Caleb Williams is done. He's not repeating. We know that now. I think Jaden Daniels might be the best player in the country, and I wanted to know what your thought is. How do you handicap it? Penix, I know, has been really good, but he wasn't good Saturday.
No, I think right now, and I know they have 2 losses. Remember, RG3 won it when Baylor went 9-3.
That's right.
I think when Quinn Ewers is going to be out a couple weeks. It looks like he's kind of fading away from it. Yeah. Carson Beck's a sneaky, if you're going to sprinkle a little money on somebody, but Brock Bowers is out. Yeah. Can't feel great about that. Bo Nixon then just lost at Washington, but he's still in it. Right now, when you look at the numbers, I think Jordan Travis is a name that should be mentioned around there with what Florida State's doing. But right now, I'll ask you 2 things. Is there a quarterback in the country that you would rather not face other than Jaden Daniels right now? And try and convince me that LSU doesn't have the best offense in the country. Like they do. I said this 2 weeks ago before USC played Notre Dame, and you'd have thought I said I was going to kidnap the president's son. I mean, it's when you watch this LSU offense, where is their weakness at?
They don't have one. Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is doing such a good job of scrambling with his eyes downfield and keeping plays alive until he doesn't have to anymore. With this run game, with this offensive line, multiple threats at wide receiver, multiple guys in the backfield that can run it, a legitimate tight end in Mason Taylor. If Jaden Daniels is going to have his chance in 2 weeks, you want to win the Heisman? Go ball out and beat Alabama on the road and win out and beat Georgia and be 10-2 with a chance to make the college football playoff, and you'll win the Heisman. I think he's the best quarterback playing right now.
Yeah, and see, I made this point, and I wanted to get your thoughts on it as we're wrapping it up. But I still think even with 2 losses, LSU, especially with Florida State continuing to win, they've got a chance to, and Missouri, even though they won that game, but Missouri with only one loss, that they have a chance to make the playoff with 2 losses.
Here's the question, though. And if there's ever a year where we were to say, could the SEC champion get left out of the playoff? What happens if Oklahoma goes undefeated, Michigan goes undefeated, Florida State goes undefeated, and let's say either Washington goes undefeated, which they're going to be in, or Washington and Oregon both play each other. Oregon beats Washington. Oregon has 1 loss on the road at Washington, beats them in the conference championship. We've said the Pac-12, I think y'all agree with me, is the best conference in college football right now.
Right.
Do you really leave out a 11-1 or a 12-1 Pac-12 champion over a 10-2 SEC champion? I don't think they could.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Great stuff from Jake Crane, Crane & Company. Hey, man, we always appreciate the time. Let everybody know how to connect with y'all.
Definitely, man. Well, if you want to check us out, we go live each weekday morning, 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central, at 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. We have live calls and a live chat. But if you can't catch us live, it stays on YouTube. It's CRAIN and Company. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that jazz. Come kick it with us, man. It's a good time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, y'all be good.
Let's go ahead and take our final timeout, wrapping up a Monday edition of Talkin' Ball right after this. Tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That overturned gasoline tanker in Lawrence County is at 36 and 157. A lot of blockage there. If you can avoid the area, you might want to try to do so. Still maybe trying to clear a wreck at Swancott in 60 and 565. That one may have some southbound blockage. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We've got a Game 7 going on tonight, ALCS, between the Rangers and the Astros. You'll be able to hear that game right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Can I do yesterday's headlines today? Is that possible? I mean, technically I'm the program director, but I don't run anything around here. So the Eagles beat the Dolphins 31-17 yesterday, Drew. And in the game, Jalen Hurts goes 23 of 31, 279, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Tua's numbers, 23 of 32, just one more pass thrown for 216, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. Can I play it, Drew?
Yeah.
Can I play it? This is the Wayback Machine.
Season's greetings from Drew DeArmond.
Drew, I'll let you take that one. There's nothing more asinine than saying that you should have chosen Jalen over Tua Tagovailoa, who redefined the position of quarterback at the University of Alabama through 87 touchdowns in less than 2 years of play.
But he is not clutch. Jalen is clutch.
Clutch! He threw the greatest touchdown pass in the history of Alabama football. Hang up the phone, man. You're crazy. He brought them back from 13-0. They're about to get shut out by the Georgia Bulldogs, and he put that together, the greatest comeback in Alabama football history. So give yourself a lobotomy if you think Jalen Hurts is even in the same stratosphere as Tua Tagovailoa. I got a lot of respect for you, but you blew it here, man. It's absolutely asinine to say that kid's not clutch. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard on this radio
Listen
station.
to Talking Ball.
And it still is, by the way.
I mean,
97.7 The Zone.
I'm really impressed with what Jalen has turned himself into.
He's really improved. He's still not better than Tua, but he's really improved. He's a good player.
So that's your yesterday's headlines.
I mean, if you watch the game and some of the throws that Tua made yesterday without 3 offensive linemen, Jalen ain't making them. I'm just telling you. But Tua's the best pure passer in the NFL. He's better than Mahomes. I don't give a damn about the Super Bowls and all that crap. I'm just saying as a thrower of the football.
That'll wrap us up here. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. I'll talk to you tonight on The Drive.